Welcome to FireteamChat, IGN's Destiny show. Thank you so much for joining us. Joining me today is Brian Malkowitz.
Hey.
And Clyde. Clyde, how do we say your name?
GSXRClyde.
GSXRClyde.
Wow.
Can you spell that for us?
GSXRClyde.
Well, as you know, we've been having community members on the show now for the last few weeks. Why don't you introduce yourself to the FireteamChat community, let them know what you're all about and where they can see your stuff.
I've been streaming on Twitch for about 4 years now. 4 years in February, actually. I was partnered June 1st. Started out helping out with raids. Everyone always used LFG, and I was kind of the guy, like, you know, I'd message you in the tower, like, hey, I need help. So I realized, like, hey, you know, I need to start finding ways to help the community. So kind of just built this empire of anyone can raid and never surrender, and it's just been crazy, and I enjoy doing speed runs and memes and you name it, some weird boss kills, but stream on Twitch every day except Sundays.
Pretty noble of you. Like, just take all those people through the raid. Is it just geared towards people who haven't raided before and need help raiding? Is that what that's all about?
I encourage those people to speak up, and if they say, hey, I've never beat a raid before, I try and bring them in. But
that's awesome.
Mainly it's helping people that, you know, want to grow on a raid better and maybe learn some enhanced strats and paying attention to certain loadouts and your gear and what guns. And I always tell people, like, I'm going to give you a loadout to use, but if you don't want to use it, use a sidearm. I'm cool with
it. Make it
but get a few dips in there on the final boss.
And it's just like the little things, like the father and son raids, or you know, I've raided with Bungie employees, and like just huge milestones that have happened. And I'm just shocked by this community every day, and it's just a fun gig, man.
Awesome.
Well, hey, thank you so much. It's always humbling when people are willing to join us on this show and just talk about Destiny. So thank you. And community, I hope you check them out. Check them out on Twitch and YouTube, right? You have a YouTube channel and a Twitch. Which do you prefer?
Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, don't matter. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, cool. Brian.
Yes, that's me.
Where have you been?
I have been in Europe for like 3 weeks.
You were in Europe. We were at Gamescom. We did that whole thing, right? And then you went to PAX. You were representing Fireteam Chat in the field.
Yeah, I was representing. Yeah, except I didn't get to play the game at all because CJ wouldn't let me cut the line. I didn't have time to stand in line at PAX, so I wasn't able to play the new build. That's unfortunate, but...
You didn't get to play Widow's Court.
I didn't get to play Widow's Court. That map I've probably played 1,000 times in Destiny 1.
I can't wait for that.
I know, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, there are a few huge news things today. Maps are being retired. There are maps that are coming back in rotation. But let's sort of start off with the bottom of the TWAB today, where they talked about raid armor, because you came back from PAX and you sent me some notes. Let me read what you said. Raid armor reskin. Not cool, bro.
That was that was my note. I was just like, I saw that and I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. So if you were wondering, there was like this rumbling coming out of PAX, and there's a lot to go over. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the PvP changes, wherein we're getting 3v3 elim back, and the maps that are being retired, the maps are coming back. We're also going to talk about the PvE changes, like... No more free reloads. You're going to have to actually do that animation. But first, let's start with the armor, because this kind of set Reddit a little bit on fire, got you a little bit riled up, and now we see it in action. The Garden of Salvation raid armor set. Brian, it looks super familiar. Where have we seen this before?
We've seen it on the community's voted best planet in Destiny 2, Mercury. No, it was the Eververse armor from Curse of Osiris.
Yep. But hey, it didn't have the glowies.
It didn't have the glowies.
Yeah. Not the glowies.
Which I'm hoping those glowies are activity-based glows and not Eververse purchase glows.
Oh God, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, yes. So hopefully we have to earn them.
Yeah. I'm hoping that.
I'll come back to you in just a second. Okay. Clyde, what was your reaction upon seeing this? You run raids, you like doing raids. To see that the Garden of Salvation raid armor set is an Eververse armor set that's been repurposed. How do you feel about that? Are you like, yeah, I'm cool with it, whatever? Or do you have the pitchforks ready?
What are those?
Right?
Well, I mean, like, one thing before I even start talking about how it looks, really don't like how it's been leaked. I love being excited when I earn the loot, and I'm like, oh man, look at this is new. And now I'm just like, oh hey, I've seen this before. You know, they showed me what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I was talking about this in my chat. We do know that there's only so much time and so much budget they can put into a DLC, you know?
Yeah.
So if I have to get a reskinned gear with ornaments, like Brian said, that hopefully we have to earn them, like through an activity or something. If all the other content is just amazing and the raid's just cool and we got new dungeons and I understood they couldn't, you know, make a new gear, I'm cool with it. But how it looks with the ornaments, I'm kind of impressed. I didn't think it was going to look like that.
Okay. I'm not as thrilled.
Not as thrilled? Okay.
I'm pretty unhappy about it. Like, just looking at the armor set, because they showed us several armor sets. They showed us the Dreambane armor set, all new armor. If that was the raid armor, cool. And especially the phenotype.
I like the Titan.
Yeah, the phenotype plasticity universal ornament set. That one looks good. And the Empyrean Cartographer universal ornament set acquired from the Eververse store. That bugs me. Why does the Eververse get a new armor set?
Hold on. Is this which one is that?
That's the Eververse set. So there's two really cool looking sets, or three.
The one that kind of upsets me the most, I guess it's not, because if you buy the season pass, you get this. Oh, that's the ornament set. Like, yeah, because this set honestly kind of looks cooler than the raid armor set.
It does, and that's weird,
that's
right?
the one you have to pay for outside of
that phenotype plasticity set is awesome. But what are those
dope?
The wings on my Titan, though. I mean, I'll deal with it.
Wait, are they on his head again?
You didn't like?
Are they on his head again?
I like how
shoulder.
I like how they look, but like, is it me or do they just not pair with those gauntlets?
Let me look here.
Maybe you got to switch the gauntlets up.
I did not realize how large those wings were until just this moment.
Big wings, man.
They look like somebody's like swords, like
whoosh. You know what people are going to do? Those wings are going to go with that helmet from Prison of Elders. You know what else?
Helmet.
And then what has the biggest like Sharpie points on the feet?
And then the Hunter's got like the Superman cape going on. That's kind of cool.
Oh
so.
Yeah,
they are stepping their game up with the Hunter cloaks this time around.
Yeah, no more hooded cloaks, you know. But yeah, I think it's cool that they kind of said, hey, since you've seen one, we're gonna show you the others, and like, you know, I mean, I get what you guys are saying though about I mean, like me personally, since the armor's so, you know, we can customize so much now. I barely use raid armor anyway.
Yeah,
of course. But that was one of the best things about raid armor was it being very, very like distinct from the rest of the game, and it's like special because you got through the raid and you got this cool armor.
I miss that feeling of launching into the tower in D1 with the full King's Fall armor on, just like I got the full set, you know.
People like surround you. They're like, "Whoa, you got the whole set! That's so cool!"
Right.
And like that feeling of excitement. And now it's like, "Oh, did you get that at the Eververse? Yeah, I have it too. Let me put it on."
Yeah,
really
I bought
quick.
that. Yeah, day one, I've already got the raid armor set.
Hey, I bought that too.
Yeah. Here's the only reason I'm not. I don't have the pitchfork all the way out yet. Maybe it's like halfway out. I have it at the ready. But I think there's more going on with the raid armor. Like they found it at PAX in the menu, you know, where they were going on to like sort of mess with it. We've seen this and I'm like, okay, this has to be some sort of base set. And with the new ornamentation system, I'm wondering if there's more going on there. If this truly is the raid armor, I'm absolutely disappointed.
That's fair though.
Yeah. Well, what happens? So we know that the ornamentation is happening. So that way, like everything that was Eververse pre Shadowkeep will be added as a cosmetic piece of item. So if you get the raid gear in Garden of Salvation and you have the Curse of Osiris raid gear, or sorry, Curse of Osiris Eververse gear, and then you use that as an ornament for Garden of Salvation's raid gear.
Oh yeah.
Does anything change?
Yeah.
Or does it just look the same or just different colors?
Yeah. I would love to hear how the commenters feel about this, but for me to know that the armor that I'm going to earn, I love raiding, right? I love getting the full raid set. I like getting the armors. I know a low percentage of players play this, but the fact that it's a reuse set is disappointing. I'll just say that.
Overall, I'm not upset with reusing armor looks if they do it in a unique way. But when it's the raid, that's the one that kind of irks me a little bit because that's the pinnacle activity where you're
I'll
supposed to
tell
feel
you what-
special about getting that armor.
What I was disappointed in is that the raid perks were exposed.
Oh, really?
I haven't read any of those.
The
yet.
mods, the
Take
mods
us
are
through it.
floating around.
What? Okay, spoiler
Spoilers.
warning. What have you heard?
Spoiler warning. I mean, I can pull the mod right here. It says enhanced voltaic moke collector, active only in Garden of Salvation raid. Gain an overshield after you collect 5 motes. This mod's effect does not stack with other copies of this mod. Are we playing Gambit?
Moats?
Yeah.
For the
Okay,
raid?
now that I think about it, I did see that. Yeah, so we are collecting. There's a mechanic in the raid that has you collecting motes of dark, like
Yes.
like in Gambit.
And then
I
you
doubt
get.
we're actually playing Gambit in the raid, but
But
There was
I bet
also
you obviously collect something and put it somewhere.
you're probably going to put it in a Gambit.
there was
like-
also a Vex relay mod.
Mhm.
If you have this mod equipped, I forgot what the name of it was. I just don't have the post up. But if you stand near the Vex relay, you get more heavy drops or something like that. I can't quote on it, but the mod I just wrote. So there's been 2 raid mods that have been exposed, and people of the raiding community are kind of like, can we kind of keep these mods on the low because you
Yeah.
can kind of take the mods and go, oh, I remember seeing this mod. Oh wait, there's some modes. Maybe
Mhm.
we gotta, you're like trying to start to figure out the mechanics,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm trying to avoid. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, that's a bummer. Okay, spoilers over. We won't talk about that anymore.
We won't talk about
Yeah,
it.
we'll just say that. Man, that sucks that got data mined out, and that it's so readily available. So that's like on Reddit, right?
It's kind of unfortunate.
That was at PAX.
That was-
They
no, these things
hovered
are at
over
PAX.
Oh, that was just in the menu at
Well, in
PAX?
the yeah, that's how like
That's
all
why
of
CJ
these-
wouldn't let you play.
Yeah, right. Like, that's why all of these like exotics were like revealed because they just went into the menu and you could go to the collections and you can see all this. That's
People started sending me text messages at PAX.
Mhm.
Said, check this out. Check this out. I'm like,
no.
no more. I don't want to
Yeah.
see it.
Leave me alone. Stop it.
Oh yeah. Well, just like realizing that, like I thought when you were gonna say perks, like I thought it was just gonna be like reload
No, it's an
faster
actual
or something
mod.
like that, and I'm like, that tells you a mechanic.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's been a
Yeah.
big thing that we were talking about the last couple days, and I'm kind of just like, hey, like I kind of look like it as the packs that they launched on the game for people to play.
Yeah.
I think it was a teaser. They only wanted to be like, hey, check this out, check this gun out, check this gun out, but they didn't say, oh, they're gonna go look in the triumphs, they're gonna go look in the lore, like.
Oh,
yeah.
they
Of course
underestimate the
we
data
are.
mining
Of
community.
course we are. We're gamers, man.
Yeah. We want to find the little details. To be positive for a second, going back to the armor and stuff, I like most of the sets.
Yeah, no, it's nothing about the way they look. That's
I really like the astronaut set for the Titan.
Me
It
too.
looks
Me
really
too.
clean.
Literally every other set looks cool.
Yeah.
Which one don't you like?
the Warlock set.
Oh, shut up,
moon.
Brian.
The Warlock
still,
on the moon.
It still looks like a weird mask to me.
What happened to his
You're
helmet?
a spooky
Yeah.
warlock. Look.
And the
Boo.
there was another set too. I think it was the Iron Will armor set.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of plain question mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me look again. I kind of like it. It's subtle. I like it. It's a deviation from some of the stuff that they have done in the past.
It does give it a little simplistic look to it. That's different. You're right. But
Think about what you're going to be able to do with shaders with that set. So like, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to like struggle bust to get it. I was
Right.
more upset that like the current Iron Banner that was going on recently where you have to
Oh,
like,
that
level
quest.
up. Yeah, that quest. The quest is annoying. You're getting an armor set you already had. So for me, like, and it's not going to be armor 2.0. I'm not really incentivized to do that. So
It's going to be Destiny. That's
yeah.
what I'm
Destiny, I like it. That's
Yeah,
the first time I've
for
heard that
sure.
one.
Fran says that all the time.
Sorry, Fran. Who?
Yeah. All right. So moving on. In addition to everything that happened with the armor, there were some exotics that were leaked.
Oh yeah, which one's
Brian, you have the details on this one. Tell us about the exotics that were data mined.
Deathbringer, which I think we saw in one of the trailers, but we didn't really have confirmation
Yeah, we
of
did.
what. Is that it kind of works like a scorch cannon where you hold the fire release to explode, kind of like how the scorch cannon works, or how
Fighting Lion.
or there was the rocket launcher from Destiny 1. It had the shark face on it.
Dragon's Breath?
Dragon's Breath, yeah.
Yeah.
Dragon's Breath.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that with that.
The
one too.
primer.
And then it explodes into like the Nova bomb.
Did you shoot it?
Yeah, it has that Nova bomb.
He didn't get to play.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. What else
Thanks,
we got?
CJ. I'm still blaming CJ for that one.
That's fair.
Divinity is another new tractor cannon.
Okay.
Not tractor cannon, sorry. Trace rifle.
Trace rifle.
Trace rifle, not a tractor cannon. So that one.
It's his first show back,
His
everybody.
first show back. At least I'm getting the names of some of the guns right. Yeah, but like it sustains damage. So like if you're getting sustaining damage on an enemy, it creates like a field around them, kind of like Prometheus lens.
Oh,
does.
interesting.
But this field creates a weakening effect that, other damage just hits them. They'll take more damage from your weapons.
Okay.
It makes like
I
a
like that.
universal crit spot, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
that's
kind of-
really
that's why I kinda
cool.
said track-
I like that.
It's kind of why I said
Which
tractor
kind of
cannon,
throws
but-
me off because when they showed there was actually a picture taken of the raid armor, the 7 raid guns, and then the trace rifle. Why would they lock that trace rifle behind the raid? Is it telling us that the boss is hard to crit? You never know. I mean,
well, I don't
it kind
know.
of makes you think a little bit.
You also got to remember we got the TWAB.
Yeah.
And like you're never going to use that for anything.
Drop the ball there.
If they just fix the perk that where you're allowed to do anything without that perk disappearing, it would be a good gun.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard to put that gun on when you have Recluse, though. I mean,
For
Yeah.
sure, for sure. Which is crazy that we're not getting a nerf to Recluse. I'm impressed, actually.
I'm happy.
yeah.
Oh, happy, yeah, but
Any other
still
exotics?
impressed.
That one sounds really cool. I'm game. That sounds like a raid-worthy exotic.
yeah, I
That's
don't.
for sure.
There was a few more. I don't think this is the listing of all of them.
There's the Void Galhorn that we've already seen in
that's
the trailer.
Deathbringer, that's Deathbringer.
I don't know what it's called, but I just
Deathbringer.
call it it's the Void Galhorn. That's what I'm calling it. I don't care what they call it.
Deathbringer, Destiny.
Yeah, I think I only heard about like 2 other exotics.
Yeah.
One for the Warlock that like made his storm trance get stronger every kill or something.
Isn't that an effect that currently exists on Warlock on the Storm Trance? If the more you're damaging enemies, the more.
Let me ask a Warlock who I know.
I don't use that. Because Chaos Reach is so good.
Okay, so that's some of the stuff that we sort of talked about with packs. Now let's get into the bombshell of an update today. We're going to start with PvP changes, huge PvE changes. At the top of the list is that quick play and comp have been removed from the director. They're replaced with classic mix, which is a lot of your favorite modes. We can go over those in the TWAB in just a second. But comp is going to be 3v3 survival. Yes.
I'm excited for that.
That sounds really cool. Survival solo queue has been added, and 6v6 control has its own playlist. Some maps are getting the axe.
Yeah, there's no more maps in Destiny 2 confirmed.
No.
Right here.
Dead
no more
Cells is out. Dead Cliffs. I'm sorry. Dead Cliffs is out. Legion's Gulch. Thank you. Is gone.
Which one was Legion's Gulch?
That's the big one with the like separate mechanical looking side, and then like the almost Widow's Court looking side with the points in the back.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Retribution gone. Solitude gone. I don't remember those though. Do you remember? Them, Clyde?
Terrible at
What's
PvP,
that?
so I'd barely
Retribution or Solitude. I'll Google them really quick, but those are gone.
I got nothing.
Replacing them are much better maps that I'm stoked about. Widow's Court coming back.
I'm excited for Twilight Gap.
One of my favorite maps.
Which one? Widow's Court or Twilight?
Widow's Court.
Yeah, okay. I love Widows. I love the sight lines on Widows. I heard some people that actually got to play it say that the mantling sort of changes some aspects of the map. Like it makes it more accessible. I am sort of on your side, Brian. Twilight Gap is one of my favorite maps from Destiny 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know you're going to have the sniper
right?
lines on the side. You're going to have the shotgun fest on the left. It just has this good, like circular logic to how the gameplay flows through that map. And you got to play long sight lines on the right. You can get in close with mid-range weapons if you know the angles.
Just under the train,
really
under the bridge.
Yep.
That choke point down there. Yeah.
Clyde, what's your take on Twilight Gap from Twilight Gap from D1?
I mean, it's like you just said, it's got a lot of action. There could be snipers and shotguns and close range. And I think what people don't understand either is that with these 3v3, I'm excited for it because people might forget how that's played. I mean, your sniper gets a pick or your shotgunners rush in. I mean, you could just collapse on a team, and I'm just excited for that. This whole meta of standing in the back of the map, I don't like it.
I'm definitely excited to see the possibilities because we have not had this game mode in D2 meta.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great to see that mode return and see what all the possibilities.
Solitude is the Mars map.
Oh, it is the Mars map. Yeah.
Oh, is that okay? Okay,
Yeah.
Solitude. That's retiring. They're retiring that map, huh?
Yeah, actually, I don't mind that map as much.
That's the one
but I'm
with
also
the
fine with it going
with that
away.
like middle section that kind of like has like a Y shaped, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember Retribution. I'm trying to find an image that actually goes over it. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm super stoked about those two maps coming back. We're also getting a new one. It's called Fragment. They showed a picture of it on the TWAB. It says, "Think Dreaming City meets Infinite Forest."
So is it like?
So does that
is it
mean
like
like
is it like a
disappearing
That'd be really good.
ledges? Yeah.
Is it like a custom look? Like they're not drawing inspiration from any current existing destination.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, they just showed an image of it.
Oh.
It does sort of look more like, the I don't know, Dreaming City meets. It's hard to describe.
It's right there. They described it. Dreaming City meets Infinite Forest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, if you look
it is.
at it, I'm bringing up the image here to show you, Brian.
Yeah.
It's largely more Dreaming City, right?
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
I get it. I see what they mean by Infinite Forest too. But then the
Dreaming City, like with a lot of overgrowth. It looks like there's a large, like circular area in the center of the map, waterfall in the background to paint a picture for our audio listeners. I'm down. I'll try it out. Yeah, I'm glad Legion's Gulch is gone. Solitude mixed. I can't remember which map Retribution was. But the bigger news is that elimination is making a turn. We're getting 3v3 in the Crucible.
Crucible Labs.
In Crucible Labs. Eliminations is making a return to Destiny 2 via Crucible Labs. But comp is going to be 3v3 survival.
Yeah.
And then we have 3v3 Elim in Crucible Labs. Thank you. I'm stoked about that. That's great news. I also like how the playlist is changing. What is your reaction to this PvP news, Clyde?
I was a big trials guy.
Yeah.
I liked helping out with trials and PvE at the same time. And then when trials and D2 came out, I was like, I'm gonna stop playing that. And, like the 3v3 just elimination in the labs. Like they said, we're gonna give you multiple different types of elimination. I think they're trying to just give us test modes of what could come down the road, redacted.
Yeah.
They had trials of the 9 is on
Right.
indefinite hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's exciting, and I think especially a lot of players that are new to D2, they'll see the difference of the meta that they play now and the people that play in elimination. Because elimination, you get picked. I mean, you're going against a good team. They're just going to push you 3v2 and it's over. So and then it's going to come down to super control and when to pop your super. Do you play an aggressive super or do you play a counter super? So I mean, there's definitely going to be some cool loadouts, and I can't wait to watch those PvP players come up with the strats for me.
Yeah. That's how I feel. Just figure out all those strats and then I'll implement them later on because much better people than me will figure all that stuff out.
Stephen Rue, we're going to give you a call.
Yeah.
Here's the crazy thing for me. They seem so resistant to this idea of going back to 3v3. Like when Trials launched and, it wasn't going great, their player numbers were pretty down, and you would queue against, when I would play, I would queue against ridiculously good teams. And I'm like, okay, I know this streamer, I'm not going to win, So it's interesting that they reverted to 3v3. I'm glad they did it. I wonder why it took them so long to make that happen, and why they were so hesitant to do, so resistant to it.
Yeah, my assumption is that it balance. Yeah, in that a lot of the game types and new maps weren't really built around that type of play style. I have to imagine that they tested it out. At least in the beginning in
the old
vanilla,
sandbox.
In the old sandbox, and where 3v3 probably just didn't work. But then there was a time when Trials of the 9 went away. Bungie seemed very adamant that they didn't want to just bring back Trials of Osiris because they wanted to do something more and better. So that they seemed more like ironclad in the fact that they didn't want to just bring something old and bring it back just because that's what everybody wanted. They wanted to do something more so that
we can innovate. We can do something cool.
That's what it seems like more to me rather than like we don't want to do that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Do you think that these maps now that we have are big enough for 6v6? Because I feel like I'm always spawning right in front of people.
It
for
still
6v6
feels like a big mess sometimes.
They did specify that certain maps won't have certain things in them, so I would have to bring up the TWAB and go over that.
We know Widow's Court and Twilight Gap will be fine.
Those
two will be great.
Those maps will be great, but
they are old maps.
They probably just took out certain things. Here was something that I actually found really, really interesting about the PvP meta. I'll just read it right out of the TWAB. Rank systems update streaks and floors. The idea of having a floor to your losses seems like an interesting idea to me. So let's hear what they had to say. Glory, Valor, and Infamy streaks have been made more resilient. Instead of resetting your streak, losses will now reduce your Valor and Infamy streaks by 1 and your Glory streak by 2. You can still lose Glory, but if your rank is at or below Fabled, you can't lose Glory. If doing so would drop you below that rank, each rank, though, through Fabled acts as a floor for Glory. So it sounds like there is they're not just going to drop you down a rank,
right?
If you've hit a rank. I like this. I think this is a good middle ground. At least once you hit that point, you're not going to fall like two ranks, because that's super demoralizing.
It's not punishing you. I mean, it is punishing you in a certain degree if you don't play, but it's not punishing you so much that, you know, if you can't play for 2 weeks because you've got something going on, they're not like, well, we're resetting your Glory because you can get on. So, yeah, like you said, middle ground. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. This is such a mixed bag of an update, by the way. I'm really, really happy that 3v3 Elim is coming back in Crucible Labs, right? Separately, we got some updates to the sandbox announced this week. And guess what? I hope you like reloading your guns.
Well, you know what? I'll say it I'll probably get a lot of flack for it, but like Well and Rally Barricade and
Lunafactions,
it's broken.
Yeah.
Especially with Mountaintop.
It broke the game.
It's broken.
It broke the game.
It's broken.
I've seen you break the game with it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna give me the tools, I'm gonna.
Right.
Right. Like of course I'm gonna use it. It's like, wait, I can drop my well and just infinitely shoot.
I always tell people. I've been talking about this for the last couple of days because it's been floating around, and I just tell people like, look, people crutch on these wells, and they crutch on the auto reloads. I'm like, look, like just challenge yourself and try and mess around with it now. And I keep telling people like, look, let's get this challenge done so we can go get Menagerie. It gets all your enhanced launchers and grenade launcher loaders and sniper rifle scavengers and all these mods because you're going to need them. And now it's just, I'm just excited to see more challenging activities because it's, you know, it really hurts my passion sometimes when I see some really great hard activity come out and people are like, watch this, I'm going to pop a well. Oh, spam Mountaintop.
It's also like, it's like they said it's giving a drastic increase to reload speed.
Yeah.
So if you say you pop the well and you're going to use Recluse, like Recluse's reload speed is pretty fast
already
out of the gate.
Yeah.
So if you're in a well and you got Lunafaction boots on, you pop all your rounds, you're going to reload. It's going to be a really quick reload. So you're not going to see a crazy loss in DPS with those types of guns. Yeah, you'll see it more so with like Mountaintop, but
it can open up a lot of team composition too.
Yeah.
Because now, hey Warlock, instead of you running your Lunas, why don't you run Phoenix Protocol? Let's kill some ads, get your well back. I'm the Titan. I'm just going to pop a Rally Barricade and give us the reload boost as well.
Yeah.
Work together. You know what I'm saying? And like that could be really, really good because now it's just like, oh, I'm a Warlock. I'm going to pop a well. Come on over here, guys.
It's going to break us out. It's going to break us out of that funk that we've been in since Forsaken and that we've just been overpowered for so long. And I think a lot of people are just going to be. You know, they're going to be probably upset out of launch just because they've been so used to being overpowered for so long. But I think people are they're gonna succumb to it and they're gonna start feeling better about it when they're actually being challenged and being incentivized to try other loadouts and other ways to play the game.
Yeah. It's going to be real interesting. I feel like they're trying to like just shake everything, like just get it loosen things up a bit. Because like right now we are definitely in meta mentality.
Oh yeah.
Where like this is how you have to play each class and this is what you need to do. And now like another thing that they're doing is damage buffs aren't going to stack anymore. So like
that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's just going to be the best thing is going to be what you do, except for One-Eyed Mask.
Well, things like
One-Eyed. Oh man,
One-Eyed Mask wasn't bothered with, but everything else
that one's fine. No one needs to worry about that one.
So like Tractor Cannon versus Shoulder Charge, you know, like one of those will take precedent.
Tractor Cannon got hit too.
Well, it's debuffs and buffs will still work together. So like if you debuff somebody with Tractor Cannon, but you get buffed by Weapons of Light, those will still stack to each other, right?
Yeah, Tractor doesn't buff 50% no more.
Yeah, it's 30,
really?
right?
They dropped it, huh?
Yeah, I think they dropped it to 30 for everything.
But am I right in saying that things that debuff will still stack with things that buff. So
Yes,
if it debuffs
only-
an enemy,
only
a
one.
player buff will still stack.
Yes, only one though.
Right, yeah, of course.
So if you debuff something with 50% and 30%, you don't get 80%. You just
Right.
get the 50.
Sure.
Bonus
And,
damage effects that apply to all the player's weapons simultaneously no longer stack multiplicatively. I think I got that word right. The highest applicable bonus will be used instead. Does not
There it
affect
is.
single weapon buffs as rampage, kill clip, or exotic weapons. So like your weapons
Sure,
are
yeah.
still
The
cool.
weapons will work.
Buffs that provide bonus damage will still exist simultaneously. And then going down to tractor cannon repulsor force, incoming PvE damage is now 30% for all elements. Previously 33% or
Oh, so
50%
it's across
for
the
non-void / void respectively.
Across the board, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're not just it's not just targeting void anymore. It's just like, hey,
Yeah.
whatever you're using gets out 30%.
Yeah. Which is still down from 33.
Yeah.
So void
Yeah.
used to be 50.
Everything else was 33.
Yeah. And now everything's 30. So it's been standardized at 30. I still think tractor cannon will still be viable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incoming PvP damage is now 50% for all elements, previously plus 33 / 50. So they just normalized in PvP. So tractor got better in PvP again. Right? All right. My favorite gun. Favorite
Fun
troll
police.
That's
weapon.
the fun police gun right there.
Wee,
Fun
wee.
police.
Yeah, some other things like hammer strike, incoming PvE is now 30 from 50. Duration increased from 6 to 10 though in PvE.
That's huge.
So
That's
yeah,
huge.
so hammer strike got a longer duration but lower percentage, so it kind of balances out.
It's weird calling it hammer strike. I just always called it melting point.
Yeah, melting point, shoulder charge, shattering strike 30, previously 50, also increased. So yeah, so I understand how they're normalizing the damage buffs and everything like that. It seems like pick one, get your 30% buff, pick the one that lasts the longest, so you only have to pop it a few times. But if somebody's rocking their tractor cannon, that means they are reduced in the amount of DPS that they can do as their exotic slot is taken up. And just starting to think about it, it's just really interesting to think how just the fact that your exotic slot now is tied up with a 30% damage buff, basically, kind of
Right.
makes you think about the rest of the things and how you're going to tie all your damage together. Reduced super damage resistance happened also. They did that with, the Quiver King, CJ, the Spectral Blades, right?
Man, it was rough.
Yeah.
I think those guys come at you from a long distance and you're just like,
So they reduced
just don't
that.
die.
They have less resistance now. That seems fine to me. How do you feel about that, Clyde?
I've heard now that you can headshot supers with a sniper, so
Oh, interesting.
I'm okay with that.
I'm really good with that.
It
'cause
just it encourages you to be smarter about when and where you activate your super. Like if you're
Yeah,
across the
yeah.
map, don't activate your super if you're running down a lane at
Yeah,
the Spectral
right.
Blades, because you're
Yeah.
probably gonna get sniped out. And then if you do, that's your fault. You shouldn't be like, oh, I should be stronger. It's like, no, just
I don't run
pop it
from
smarter.
supers in the Crucible. If I got a shotgun, I just tell my teammate, hey, shotgun melee this super, let's go for it. Or I just go for like a no scope melee. Like I'm just like, I'm gonna go out anyway. I might as well try it.
Yeah. Or just team shot, right? Super
Yeah,
team
just
shot.
team shot.
That's sort of the strat
Especially
right
now, if there's less resistance, then team shotting
Yeah.
supers will become the normal for sure.
It definitely seems like a more viable solution. The last major thing, and this is a huge TWAB. I highly encourage you to just go read everything so that you can deduce all the stuff. And I'll give you guys, of course, a second to if I missed anything that you wanted to cover. But it is
well, we didn't
a
talk about
huge
the-
update. No, there is one more thing I'm going to go over. Supers, the regeneration speed on all supers is being reduced, and the amount of super you get back for masterwork orbs has been reduced. Super orbs and masterwork orbs has been reduced by 50%.
Masterwork orbs were, I
Huge.
think, were 25.
No, they were both 50.
Were they both
Yeah,
50?
25% down for kills and assists.
Wow.
Yeah. So
insane.
you are not going to be getting your supers.
Well,
This,
then
this
again,
is because
but-
you're leaning into your int div
Yeah, so-
strength.
yeah.
And figuring out where you want that to land. So if you want that T12 really fast super regen, you're probably going to have to lean into
T12.
that. Yeah, right?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Bringing it
Do you remember those days?
Oh, I remember those days.
Yeah.
Man. Hunting for that. You ever get like those 1 point off?
Oh, yeah. And then you
Like,
just
it's
delete
right
it
there.
angrily.
I'm just hoping that this change doesn't make it feel like Destiny 2 Vanilla did, where it felt like such a drag
Oh yeah.
To get to your super. Like, I mean, I remember playing when the game first launched that you're just like, I'm not using my super at all.
Yeah.
And because you knew that if
you got
used your super once in a strike, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, so and now you can get it multiple times because of all the masterwork orbs and the chaining.
I think
and that's fun.
I think this brings up teamwork though. Like,
for sure.
You're going to have your hunters in your team. Like, hey, I'm about to go clear some ads and tether. Make sure you guys use your super so you can get my orbs, and you're going to work together more. And like you guys said, focusing on your builds and focusing on your intellect, and strength. And I think it's really going to become viable to where you actually have to play as a team, other than like, oh, I'm going to get my super in 2.5 minutes, 5 super mods.
Yeah, talking about the super Mobius Quiver. Like they also went over all the super subclasses and
all
how
the
they're
changes,
those.
Which is a lot of changes.
Yeah, so there's like Mobius Quiver fire multiple times and deals massive damage to tethered targets. Added the old provision perk to naturally be a part of Mobius Quiver. Killing tethered enemies creates super orbs and grants stacks of Heart of the Pack for allies. Expanded the range of Heart of the Pack from 20 to 30 meters. Shadow Shot Super. Almost
Say
said that
10 times fast.
Shadow Shot Super. Top and bottom path damage increased from 150 to 250. One-shot kills in PvP. CJ's been there like 1 week.
That's huge.
And he already got what he wanted.
He got what he wanted. No, Trials isn't back yet.
Improved tether accuracy near obstacles. Suppresses on hit. More consistent. So yeah, more super shutdown time. And the one they sort of already talked about was the Vanishing Smoke sort of a thing that was in Luke's earlier post. Yeah. So again, if you want to go see all the nitty gritty about all this, definitely check out this week's TWAB, because we've been going for a while now and there's so much to go over. I'm sure we missed some stuff that you want to hear us talk about. If we missed something, you want us to cover it next week, let us know in the comments.
There is one thing I do want to address.
Yeah.
That I did see.
Yeah. What's up?
This is for the Warlocks out there, but
my man.
It's time for the Titans to reign, because your Warlocks do not have your Warlocks don't have a 35% well anymore. It's 25%, and the bubble is 35%.
Oh,
yeah.
And so, Weapons of Light, right?
And it's Weapons of Light.
Yeah. So, sorry, Brian.
If you step in the bubble and you step out, you get it for 15 seconds. That's half of a well. So technically, you can still get Weapons of Light as long as a Well of Radiance. But if you think about it, how they described the buffs and debuffs, you can pop the bubble in the back of the well and get the well healing and the Weapons of Light damage buff.
Oh, so you can stack
symbiotic.
Yeah.
So
be a little more
that's huge. You're going to be working together.
Yeah.
No, that's what you've been talking about the whole show, right? Like the strategy, the symbiosis that you want to have with your team.
I'm okay with the Warlocks getting the nerf. That's what this season seems like. It's about the nerf of the Warlocks.
Oh, here we go.
But no, I'm going to say that I'm okay, though. We've had our time in the sun. Destiny is all about like the ever-evolving meta. We're going to come back around it again. Titans are going to be, on top. I'm not saying they're going to be on top on this time, but one day they'll be on top. Hunters will be on top. Then it'll come back around to the Warlocks, and it's just going to keep on going in a circle.
I've been enjoying playing the Warlock, but I main Titan, but like when I'm helping people through content, a lot of the times I'm like, you know what, I should just probably bring my well.
Yeah.
To make sure nothing goes.
To be that
make sure nothing goes wrong.
Protect the babies.
Right, and I'm like, I just want to put on bottom tree striker and get my frontal assault 25% buff and do so much damage. And I've been love that super. I love how you just punch an enemy, get the extra 25% damage buff, and just spam everything.
Is that the one that returns super?
Yeah,
as you get those kills.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't use my super. I just put on the bottom tree.
Sorry, I get you.
Punch it with you proc your knockout, and your frontal assault is a buff you get for 25% extra damage, and that stacks with all the other buffs and stacks with your menagerie and raid mods, and you just do so much damage to bosses. It's insane. And I've been rocking the bubble. I was rocking bubble for I was rocking
you do it on bridge.
Banner shield, banner shield for the flawless menagerie help.
Yeah,
when you had to. So I had to sit there and just block everything and help people get the achievement. And that was cool. That was fun.
That's cool. But isn't it also like I'm holding my button, I'm doing my part? Because I helped out Teddy.
You have to hold the button right now?
Yeah, you hold it. You pop it and you have to hold it.
That's not happening anymore after Shadowkeep, right? You don't have to hold it anymore?
No, you always have to hold it, I think. Because you either can throw your shield, right?
Or you can block.
I mean, after you pop it.
For the bubble, for the Ward of Dawn bubble, that's separate. You just hold it and it pops the Ward of Dawn, right?
Right.
You do not run Titan, do you?
No,
buddy?
I've actually never ran Bubble Titan in there because
So if you just tap it, he's just active and he can move around.
Okay.
If you hold it, he pops the bubble, and then I think the
But
bottom.
you don't have to keep holding it.
Not different tier, like different tree,
Okay,
right?
okay,
So like there's one where you pop it, then you have the mobile shield, right?
Yeah.
And if you hold it,
got it. Okay, all right.
you block all incoming damage and all outgoing damage is amplified. Remember?
Right. Yep. Now
We did Menagerie. I was the Titan holding the button.
I was never imagining that shield that you could shoot through. I wasn't even picturing that in my head.
Yeah, dude. All I'm doing.
Shield. Yeah, I was imagining you guys talking about popping Ward of Dawn and just holding it there and just like, all right, guys, do your thing. I'm like, that's not a thing.
No.
I was like, what? Okay.
No.
All right, we're on the same page now.
I got to say though, I'm really excited about Ward of Dawn. Like getting weapons light back is huge. And just overall, this whole update, it has a lot of sour stuff in it that I'm not super thrilled about. Like the armor's disappointing. It sucks that we're getting all this stuff, but at the same time, I'm just trying to be really optimistic
There's a lot
about
of
the
good
new
stuff
season.
coming in Shadowkeep to still be incredibly excited for.
They're shaking all the bolts loose, and they're seeing how we put the car back together, basically. Right? I mean, all the parts are falling apart. That's a terrible analogy, but let's just run with it, okay?
It's definitely not falling apart. Destiny is fine. No. It's fine. Everything's good.
They're shaking apart the meta. I give up. They're just shaking things up.
They're shaking things up. Just leave it at that. That was simple.
Shaking things up.
There's a car and it's apart. No, that doesn't work.
Just stop. You're done. Guardians out.
Yeah. But anyway, so they're changing everything, and I'm trying to be optimistic because I think we're going to fall in the new patterns. I think everything's going to be okay in the end. And the raid armor still sucks, though.
Yeah. If we could just swap.
Yeah.
Just
swap any of the sets. Yeah.
I look at it like this, though. It's a really good phrase to say, shaking things up, because even with those artifacts, every season we get a different artifact, and I've been saying this forever. Every season should be a new meta, new sandbox, new changes. Hey, let's say you're using a scout rifle and a machine gun in Shadowkeep, and the next season after that, you're using swords and an auto rifle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure.
It's good to just switch it up. That's what I love about new seasons. Like when I'm leveling up, if I get something done and it's like a sidearm, I use it for the next mission because I'm like, it's something different. Cool, look at this. And then you just realize, like, oh my god, this gun's actually good. I'm gonna keep it.
Bring back the auto rifle meta.
I mean, dude.
Or at least make them viable.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm a hand cannon guy, but
for sure. But I miss when
it'd be cool to have like an auto, like what was that? What was that called? Positive Outlook.
Oh, okay.
Remember that one? The Void Energy auto rifle. You remember when we got that?
I remember Uriel's.
Uriel's give
and Shadow Price from like day one, Destiny
Shadow
1.
Price,
that was like my go-to for sure. And then we had Vanquisher and Persuader and from the Monarchy crew.
It's just cool to see all these guns, like I just want to be able to be like, hey, like you said, it's not, hey, we have to use this weapon, guys. Like we're going to do this activity. It's just like, you know what? I'm going to throw on this and just have fun. That's all I want for the game.
For sure. All right. I think that's everything that we want to go over this week. So it's sort of a mixed bag this week. I'm still optimistic about Shadowkeep. I want to see what they end up doing with all this change up, all these changes. And I feel like they're working towards something, and they'll iterate as we go forward. This is Bungie saying, hey, a lot of things aren't working, so we're breaking everything right now. But after that initial punch of the gut when they did Skull and all the exotics all at once, I'm just kind of like, all right, well, that was the worst one. This one, I'm kind of like, all right, just break the whole game. They had
to trickle us down. They couldn't take it all the way at once. They had to trickle us down a little bit and get us used to not using certain things.
Do it now ahead of Shadowkeep, whatever.
Right.
Clyde, before we head out, though, where can people find you? Just to reiterate, to remind.
Twitch.tv/GSXRClyde every day but Sunday. I would post on Twitter if it was different. Same thing, GSXRClyde. That's where you can mainly find me the most. I just started the YouTube up, trying to get that going. But everything's all the same, GSXRClyde. And I appreciate you inviting me on the show. It was definitely an honor.
Yeah, hey man, it's great to have you here, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to, like, as we deal with the tech setup and like right before the show, you're like, so are you gonna send me your Discord? And I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm doing a run a show and a million other things, but it's awesome to have you here. Yeah.
When the new content comes out, let's just do something together and have fun with it,
Yeah, that sounds great. And Brian, it is wonderful to have you back too.
Yeah.
So thank you both for coming back, and thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, leave them in chat if there's anything else you want us to cover about this specific update, because it is so huge. But as with every show, we have to come to the end at some point. So that's it for this time. Until next time, Guardians out.